Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with another scrapbooking process video, and this is another one with my How to Kill a Kit with Style using my 6x6 paper pads. So I have no idea where this 12x12 came from, but it's green, it has raccoons all over it, and I figured, I'm using this little Outfitters, I think it's called, Pink Paisley 6x6 paper pad, and I thought it went, so I'm going to go ahead and use them. This photo here is when Billy was 7 months and we were home for winter break, and this was New Year's Day, and my brother was just playing with him and being a goober and pretending like he was riding him or something. I don't know. He was being silly. But because it's a photo of my brother and my brother's a goofball, I thought that he would just get a kick out of this raccoon paper, so I figured he would be a fun subject to use it on, and it just went with these products so well. So I just pulled out a bunch of these 6x6 paper pads. I just want to do a lot of fun layering. I mentioned in a previous video recently how I've been binging on Chamel's videos, and I saw a layout very similar to this one that she has inspired me to kind of create this design, where she has a bunch of layers on a photo and then kind of a stack of those same layers to the right side of the photo to create this horizontal design that's not super obvious, but I loved how it looked, so I'm trying to recreate that a little bit, and I'm doing the layering that she likes to. She's described it as if you're gathering up a bunch of papers on your desk and you've kind of got them all ordered, but it was right before you shook them into a clean, neat pile. And that's how she likes to do her layering, where they're kind of slightly offset and they're not all squared up, and I think it creates such a cool look. So that's really what I'm going for with my layers. I was really inspired by her design to do this. So I'm just trying to stagger these 6x6 photos in order to create mats for my 6x4 photo. That's always super tricky when you're trying to create a lot of layers with a 6x4 photo when the papers you have to work with are already only 6 inches. So by staggering them like this, it kind of, you get a nice mat, but it doesn't go all the way around, but because it's so layery and kind of intentionally messy, it's still cool. There's a couple bits, like I have this scrap of this constellation photo where I'm just going to stack it on either side of the photo and have it be a mat that looks like it's running behind all of these. I'm just trying to work with what I have to create these layers, and I think it comes out to be something really fun. I'm just trying to make sure these kind of lighter wood grain colors are not on top of each other and that the navies are not on top of each other, and I have this green layer kind of closer to the photos to try and bring in the green of this 12x12 background. So that's kind of what I was thinking as I was gathering this all together, but it was pretty simple to come together, so I really enjoyed it. And then I'm just trying to keep to the side, everything that I trim off from the side of these photos, I'm trying to keep those scraps separate so I can layer them all up to be on the right side of this page, and you'll see what I mean in a minute when I kind of get the design down. But because Thomas is pointing to the right side of the page, I want the photo to be on the left, so he's kind of directing your look into the page and not off of it. So that's where I'm planning on the photo sitting. Therefore, the rest of the little layery bits that I'm planning on including will be on the right side of the page. So there is that. I think I'm almost done with my layering. I think I want a few more bits, but you can see what I mean here. So this photo will be on the left side, and then I'm going to create that same kind of look with my scraps over on the right side of the page. So I'm just trying to include another scrap here so it really looks layery. I didn't have all of the papers that I had behind the photo, but I just needed a couple to kind of give you that same layery feel. But I'm gonna just stagger them up on the right side here to create this horizontal design where you have this photo and then this gap and then more layers. And what Chamel did was she had her title in the middle of this gap, and she kind of used embellishment to fill in this space. So I thought that was really cool. My layout ended up looking a lot more different than hers because she ended up having a really cool vertical column of embellishment running up through this whole section from the top of the page to the bottom. I'm going to try and keep mine more on the horizontal look, where I'm just going to fill in my title in this gap, and then just embellish a little bit from there. But I was definitely influenced by that page, and I had a lot of fun with it. Actually, I'm going to link the process video that I was watching when I was doing this page in the description, so if you want to see kind of how I was inspired to do this and see what she ended up doing, you can. I think she did a Disney layout for this design, if I remember correctly, but I was definitely inspired by it to create this design, but I think it was such a great design because you can really go through a lot of your 6x6 paper pad doing all of these layers, and that's really my goal this month, is to get through these 6x6 paper pads that I've had sitting in my stash for ages. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these down. I definitely want them around there, more towards the bottom of the page than the top, but across from each other. And then I have, I think I'm going to add a few more layers now that they're down, and I have some more scraps, pretty much just to try and use up some more scraps. I'm trying to use anything I can from these paper pads on these layouts. So I had another scrap of this wood grain I decided to add. I had a scrap of the blue plaid I used on the right side, but I hadn't used yet in my paper layers. I'll go in and add that in a bit too. But I have this foam title here that says "Life is Good Here," and I thought that was appropriate. Billy and Thomas are just hanging out and playing over the holidays. So I thought that was kind of a fun, easy title, and it was large, which I liked because it really filled in this gap perfectly. And then there's also some kind of doodly hearts on this foam alpha sheet too, so I decided to use that as my embellishment to kind of create that more vertical look through this gap like Shamel had. And then here I am, I decided to go in and add another piece of this navy plaid that I have on the right layers but not in the photo layers, so just adding that a little bit. And then I think I'm going to go through my embellishment now. I do go through my enamel dots, and I think about maybe trickling some enamel dots vertically up through this title section, kind of like how Shamel did on hers, but it just doesn't look good on mine. I don't know if it's because I have this busier raccoon paper as my background, but it ended up not working. You'll kind of see me sprinkle all of these green enamel dots along the vertical here and then taking them all off again. But I want something. It looks really nice. I love this design and all the layers, but it's definitely looking kind of empty up there at the top of the page. And I definitely want a little bit of embellishment around the layers I've already created. So I'm trying to figure that out. But what I end up doing is going through my stash and trying to find some things I can use to embellish with, because I think I do have the puffy stickers for this collection, but everything that was left wasn't really applicable. So I kind of had to go through my stash to find other stuff. But I found this sheet from Jelly Bean Soup. I haven't used it in ages, but it has that same kind of green tone on it. So I figured I could pull in a couple of the green. And then there's also some notebook font or pattern embellishments on that Jelly Bean Soup sheet too that I thought I could include, because there's these map prints that are kind of the same color already on the page. But I'm just going through a couple things I pulled out. I pulled out this, I think it's Wild and Free from Pink Paisley, thinking maybe I could use some of the navy, but it ended up not working. But I really focused more on this Jelly Bean Soup sticker sheet, which I was very, very happy about, because this has been in my stash for a really long time. And you can see most of that sticker sheet is gone, and so I'm happy I got to use a good bit of it on this one. But I just decided to use the little geotag just because my title said "Life is Good Here," so I thought it'd be applicable to have a geotag, even though it's on the map print of something that I don't know where it is. But now I'm just trying to get things used up, and so I decided to add the little notebook banner up there next to the green banner, and then there's a little notebook tab I thought would be really nice to have on the photo where I could do my journaling. So I'm just going to do my journaling really quick. It says, "Enjoying being home on New Year's Day while Thomas and Billy play." And then I dated it January 1st of 2012. And that was nice. I used 4 of the stickers on that sticker sheet, which I thought was great because it's been ignored in my stash for so long. So yeah, I like that. And then I will go in and add green enamel dots, but instead of having them clustered up vertically, I'm going to have them in 3 specific sections now that I actually have some embellishment areas. So I'll do a cluster by those little banners on top of the photo, a couple down by my little journaling tab, and then one over by the geotag, just so that's kind of balanced across the page. But the top is still looking very empty. I don't really want a whole nother embellishment cluster because I think that would distract you from this really cool horizontal design I have going, but I wanted something interesting up there. So I decided to do this folded over corner just a little bit just to create something kind of cool. But the back of the sheet is plain white, and I wanted there to be some kind of woody pattern, and I realized I have a wood grain stamp, so I'm just stamping in brown this wood grain. I'm going to fold that corner over and just patch the rest of the 12 by 12 with another scrap from this collection, but I think it adds a cool little detail. It's kind of unexpected, but it's simple enough so that it's interesting without being distracting. So I just decided to do that, and I think that's a nice little finishing touch that makes the top not so boring. And then, like I said, I'm just going to fill it in with this scrap paper that I have elsewhere on the page. So I'm just trying to line it up so I can glue it down. But that's pretty much it. So the close-ups will be after this once I kind of get this corner glued down. But I wanted it to be just a little subtle interest to detail. But I love it. I love how this page turned out with all the layers. I think it's so funny, this raccoon paper. I don't know why I originally bought this paper, but using it on a page of my brother being goofy, I just thought was funny. So here are the close-ups. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.